Welcome back to ABC General Hospital Spoilers channel. Today, we will learn about the explosive revelations and tense confrontations set to unfold in Port Charles on Friday, November 21st. As the drama intensifies across the town's shadowy corners, beloved characters face shocking betrayals, hidden agendas, and life-altering decisions that could reshape alliances forever. Fans are in for a roller coaster of emotions, from heart-pounding discoveries to protective warnings that hint at deeper family rifts. The intrigue kicks off at the bustling Brown Dog Bar, where Nina Reeves receives an urgent summons that pulls her into the heart of a brewing mystery. As the new overseer of Jacinda Bracken's professional world, Nina arrives with her signature mix of curiosity and caution, demanding answers about the secretive meeting request. This encounter ties directly into Detective Harrison Chase's relentless probe into Jacinda's activities as he uncovers layers of deception surrounding her fabricated alibi. Chase, ever the meticulous investigator, suspects the timeline doesn't add up, especially with Michael Corinthos' involvement in crafting what seems like a convenient cover story. In a town where trust is a rare commodity, Nina's questions could expose cracks in Jacinda's facade, forcing her to confront uncomfortable truths about loyalty and ambition. The bar's dim lights and whispered conversations set the stage for revelations that might ripple through the Corinthos family, challenging Nina's role as both boss and confidant in this web of intrigue. Meanwhile, romance and suspicion collide at the elegant Metro Court restaurant, where Michael Corinthos and Jacinda Bracken share an intimate date night filled with stolen glances and tentative hopes. Their evening takes an unexpected turn when Sonny Corinthos strides in, his presence commanding immediate attention as he meets Jacinda for the first time. Sonny's sharp eyes assess the newcomer, blending paternal protectiveness with his street-honed instincts for spotting potential threats. Conversation swiftly shifts to the night's potential miracles, with Sonny toasting to Laura Collins' triumphant mayoral re-election, a hard-fought victory that has energized the community and solidified her leadership. Yet, beneath the celebratory vibe, Sonny senses undercurrents of unease, wondering if Michael's choices could invite more danger into their already volatile lives. This family gathering highlights the Corinthos clan's unbreakable bonds, even as external forces, like Chase's investigation, threaten to pull them apart, reminding viewers how personal relationships in Port Charles often serve as the front line in larger battles. Laura Collins' joyous evening, however, is poised to shatter into nightmare territory, marking a stark contrast to her political success. Fresh from her election win, Laura's sense of accomplishment is overshadowed by a gruesome discovery that will leave her reeling. At the foreboding Windermere estate, Britt Westburn grapples with utter panic after witnessing Jen Sidwell's cold-blooded act drawing a pistol and fatally shooting Professor Henry Hank Dalton in a fit of vengeful fury, right inside the opulent halls. Britt, her medical expertise rendering her acutely aware of the irreversible damage, confronts Sidwell with a barrage of desperate questions, her voice trembling as she demands to know the motive behind such ruthless violence. Sidwell, unflinching and calculating, delivers a chilling explanation. Betrayal is met with swift and final retribution, positioning Dalton's demise as a stark warning to anyone daring to cross him, including Britt herself. The estate's echoing chambers amplify the horror, with bloodstains marring antique furnishings and the air thick with the scent of gunpowder, underscoring how Windermere's isolation breeds unchecked power plays, as the body is hastily relocated to conceal the crime. The stage is set for Laura's horrifying encounter, perhaps stumbling upon the corpse in a secluded garden or forgotten room, prompting her to alert authorities and ignite a full-scale police hunt. This twist not only endangers Britt's precarious position, but also draws Laura deeper into the estate's dark secrets, testing her resolve as mayor and family matriarch against the tide of scandal. In a parallel thread of emotional vulnerability, Alexis Davis convenes with Willow Tate in a quiet, strategy-focused meeting that reveals Willow's mounting desperation amid her legal woes. Alexis, drawing from her vast experience as a legal powerhouse, outlines a meticulous plan to navigate the complexities of Willow's case, emphasizing calculated moves to sway opinions and gather irrefutable evidence. Willow, her eyes wide with a mix of fear and determination, vows to follow every directive without hesitation. Her plea of "I'll do anything" echoing the raw stakes of her fight for justice and survival. Their discussion delves into potential witnesses and overlooked angles, with Alexis advising Willow on maintaining composure under scrutiny, a skill honed from years of courtroom battles. This alliance between the savvy attorney and the embattled young woman highlights themes of resilience and mentorship, as Willow clings to hope amid the uncertainty. The meeting's intensity foreshadows breakthroughs, especially when Chase arrives with game-changing updates from his Jacinda probe, armed with concrete proof that Jacinda was entangled with someone else entirely on the fateful night, pointing suspicions toward the enigmatic Ezra Boyle. Chase's findings could dismantle the alibi and redirect the investigation's focus. For Willow, this development offers a glimmer of vindication, potentially shifting the narrative from doubt to clarity in her ongoing struggle. Over at the Metro Court, familial tensions simmer as Ava Jerome shares a private moment with Marco Rios in the plush lounge, their anticipation building while waiting for Lucas Jones to arrive for a group dinner. Ava, fiercely guarding her loved ones like a lioness, wastes no time in issuing a stern warning to Marco. Any heartbreak inflicted on Lucas would unleash her unyielding wrath. Her words laced with the quiet menace of someone who's faced down mobsters and emerged stronger. This protective stance stems from Ava's deep-rooted history of loss and redemption, making her hyper-vigilant about Lucas' happiness in this budding romance. Marco, caught off guard yet respectful, nods in acknowledgement, the exchange underscoring the high stakes of blending new love with Port Charles' judgmental social circle. As Lucas finally joins them, the meal promises warmth and laughter, but not before a fraught elevator run-in with Carly Corinthos shakes his confidence. Carly, struggling to accept Lucas' bold choice to relocate to Windermere with Marco, voices her concerns with a mix of tough love and outright disapproval, fearing the estate's haunted reputation and potential pitfalls. Lucas, empowered by his journey of self-discovery, firmly asserts his autonomy, declaring he'd sever ties if Carly can't support his path forward, a declaration that strains their lifelong friendship to its limits. Yet, even as Lucas defends his romantic aspiration with unshakable conviction, ominous hints of impending bad news loom, suggesting external forces or hidden revelations could upend his newfound stability. Next, we will dive deep into the sizzling drama surrounding Jocelyn, Jax, and S. Vaughn as they teeter on the edge of a dangerous game that could torch their careers at the WSB. In the latest twists from the November 19th episode, Vaughn reaches out to Jocelyn with an urgent plea for a clandestine rendezvous, one that deliberately sidesteps their stern overseer, Jack Brennan, setting the stage for a cascade of high-stakes repercussions that fans won't want to miss. This covert contact isn't just a casual chat. It's a bold move born from Vaughn's mounting frustrations over Jocelyn's involvement in a perilous operation tied to Lucas Jones and the shadowy figure of Marco Rios, where every step feels like navigating a minefield of espionage and betrayal. The perils of shadowy encounters. Picture this: Vaughn, ever the vigilant operative with his sharp instincts honed from years in the field, senses that Jocelyn's enthusiasm is outpacing her experience, turning what should be a calculated intel grab on Jen Sidwell into a potential disaster waiting to explode. Brennan, the no-nonsense leader whose decisions have kept the team afloat through countless crises, dismisses Vaughn's warnings as overprotectiveness, insisting that Jocelyn's fresh perspective is their secret weapon in unraveling Sidwell's web of deceit. Yet Vaughn, haunted by visions of ambushes in dimly lit warehouses or botched extractions gone wrong, can't shake the feeling that involving someone as untested as Jocelyn is like handing a novice a live grenade. Exciting, but catastrophically risky. To counter this, Vaughn opts for the ultimate insider tactic, pulling Jocelyn aside without Brennan's green light. A decision that echoes past WASB blunders where rogue actions led to demotions or worse, like the infamous fallout from the Casa Dini affair years back. This meeting, shrouded in secrecy, could unravel threads of trust within the agency, forcing Vaughn to weigh loyalty against his gut instinct to shield Jocelyn from the unforgiving world of international intrigue, brewing tensions, and hidden motives. Delving deeper, Vaughn's outreach might stem from a cocktail of professional alarm and something far more personal, a lingering spark from their whirlwind romance that once lit up Port Charles like a summer storm. While the mission's dangers loom large, think encrypted files on Rios' smuggling ring that could expose WASB moles. Vaughn's true drive could be a desperate bid to reconnect, reminding Jocelyn of the electric chemistry they shared during stolen moments amid the chaos. Brennan's oversight, rigid and unyielding, has created a rift, leaving Vaughn to play the role of the unsung guardian angel, whispering cautions about how one wrong move in this Lucas Jones probe could drag them all into a vortex of retaliation from Sidwell's ruthless allies. Imagine the scene, Vaughn pacing in the shadows of the Brown Dog Bar, his mind racing through scenarios where Jocelyn's bravery turns into vulnerability, perhaps even fabricating a what-if tale of a near-miss extraction to drive his point home. This isn't mere meddling. It's a calculated risk to preserve not just her safety, but the fragile bond that could reignite if they're not careful, all while the WASB's code of conduct hangs like a guillotine over their heads. Shocking revelations at the bar. As the drama unfolds in the steamy confines of the Brown Dog Bar, Jocelyn arrives with her signature mix of determination and wide-eyed curiosity, only to freeze in utter disbelief at the sight before her. A preview glimpse from the November 17th to 21st episodes that teases a jaw-dropping encounter. Perhaps it's Vaughn entangled in a heated sparring match with a burly local after downing one too many whiskeys, his fists flying in a display of pent-up aggression that reveals the toll this mission is taking on his composure, sweat glistening under the bar's neon lights as old wounds from past ops resurface. Or, in a twist of fate, the shot could pivot to something lighter, yet equally charged, Jocelyn stumbling into Vaughn's orbit, their banter evolving into playful jabs that peel away the professional facade, her laughter echoing as memories of their intimate nights flood back unbidden. This venue, with its worn wooden counters and haze of cigarette smoke from lingering patrons, becomes a powder keg for revelations. Maybe Vaughn confesses a hidden lead on Rios that Brennan overlooked, or Jocelyn shares her own doubts about the ops ethics, planting seeds of doubt that could fracture the team's unity. Either way, the air crackles with unspoken tension, hinting at how one unguarded moment might expose vulnerabilities neither anticipated, rekindled flames, and forbidden allure. But what if this charged reunion spirals into something irresistibly forbidden, pulling Jocelyn and Vaughn back into each other's arms for a night of passion that defies every WASB protocol? Fall previews have tantalizingly suggested a secret romance blooming in the shadows, where stolen kisses and dimly lit alleys mirror the thrill of their espionage work, but with stakes that hit closer to home. Envision them succumbing to the moment Jocelyn's resolve crumbling under Vaughn's intense gaze, their bodies entwined in a haze of whispered promises and urgent touches, the bar's back room transforming into a sanctuary from the world's prying eyes. This rekindling wouldn't just be physical, it could deepen their partnership, with Vaughn revealing classified snippets about Sidwell's network that Jocelyn uses to refine her approach, turning their liaison into an unwitting alliance against greater threats. Yet the allure comes with a dark underbelly. In the WASB's cutthroat hierarchy, personal entanglements are red flags, often leading to interrogations, surveillance, or outright expulsion, as seen in historical cases where agents' loves became leverage for enemy blackmail. Their gamble here is multifaceted, balancing desire with duty, all while the ghost of Brennan's authority looms, ready to judge and punish. The high cost of deception. Ultimately, if Jocelyn and Vaughn's clandestine dalliance leaks perhaps through a jealous colleague's tip or a careless slip in a post-mission debrief, the fallout could be apocalyptic for their WASB futures. transforming a spark of rebellion into a blazing inferno of consequences. Brennan, upon discovery, might view it as insubordination squared, stripping them of clearances and reassigning them to desk duty in some forgotten outpost, far from the adrenaline of field work. Picture the interrogations. Cold rooms with flickering fluorescence, where loyalties are dissected and careers hang by a thread, echoing the dramatic purges that rocked the agency during the Jerome Syndicate takedown. Beyond professional ruin, personal lives in Port Charles could shatter Jocelyn, facing family scrutiny from the Jax clan. Vaughn grappling with isolation as his protective instincts backfire spectacularly. Next, the latest installment of General Hospital delivered a barrage of high-stakes drama, culminating in a heart-pounding climax where the enigmatic Jen Sidwell, with cold precision, fired a bullet directly into the chest of PCU Professor Henry Hank Dalton, right in the opulent living room of Windermere. This brazen act unfolded before the stunned eyes of Britt Westburn, who could only watch in horror as the scene played out at the episode's tense finale. Viewers, gripped by the raw intensity, widely believed that the controversial academic had met his end, sealing his fate in a pool of his own deception. Now, reliable sources like Soap Opera Digest have solidified those suspicions by announcing actor Daniel Goddard's departure from the beloved ABC series, marking the end of Dalton's shadowy tenure on the canvas. In an official response to the media outlet, the General Hospital team issued a concise yet poignant confirmation of the casting change. A network spokesperson declared, "We can confirm that Daniel Goddard has exited General Hospital as Professor Henry Dalton," underscoring the finality of the character's arc amid the escalating threats in Port Charles. Adding a personal touch, executive producer Frank Valentini shared his reflections, stating, "I really enjoyed working with Daniel. It was a short-term role from the start, and we appreciate what a good job Daniel did with it. We wish him all the best in the future." This gracious send-off highlights the collaborative spirit behind the scenes, even as the on-screen narrative painted Dalton as increasingly expendable in Sidwell's ruthless operations. Fans had long sensed the noose tightening around Dalton's neck, given Sidwell's earlier warnings that his subordinate was morphing into a dangerous liability within their clandestine network. The terrorist mastermind, known for his zero-tolerance policy on betrayal or incompetence, operates in a world where loose ends are swiftly eliminated to protect his broader agenda of control and manipulation in Port Charles. Dalton's downward spiral wasn't just professional oversight. It intertwined with personal failings that amplified the risks, turning what began as a promising alliance into a ticking time bomb. Sidwell's decision to pull the trigger wasn't impulsive, but a calculated move, reflecting his philosophy that survival demands eliminating threats before they unravel everything from hidden labs to illicit experiments that could expose their entire enterprise to scrutiny from authorities and rivals alike. Delving deeper into the professor's unraveling, Dalton's unauthorized scheme to pin the blame on Rocco Falconeri for sabotaging his primary research facility stood out as a grave misstep that Sidwell could never endorse. This frame job, born out of desperation to cover his own tracks, not only strained their partnership, but also risked drawing unwanted attention from the Falconeri family and law enforcement circles in town. Rocco, caught in the crossfire of this deception, became an unwitting pawn in Dalton's bid to salvage his reputation, yet it only fueled Sidwell's distrust, portraying the professor as erratic and self-serving. The fallout from this incident layered additional tension onto Dalton's already precarious position, illustrating how one poor choice can cascade into irreversible consequences in the high-pressure underworld of Port Charles intrigue. Drunk and disheveled, Professor Dalton's vulnerabilities were laid bare in a pivotal bar confrontation that peeled back layers of his crumbling facade. Introduced to the Port Charles University scene back in April as a seemingly brilliant mind, Dalton quickly revealed himself as a figure shrouded in moral ambiguity, his charm masking a web of ethical shortcuts and hidden motives. As the storyline progressed, it became evident he was spearheading a covert research initiative bankrolled by Sidwell, though his delays in delivering breakthroughs frustrated his handler and stalled critical advancements. The November 19th episode amplified these cracks when Jocelyn Jacks, ever the resourceful investigator, was tipped off by S. Vaughn to infiltrate the dimly lit establishment where Dalton was drowning his sorrows in heavy pours of whiskey, his usual composure shattered by mounting pressures. Under the haze of alcohol, Dalton let slip explosive secrets that could dismantle his entire operation, confessing to Jocelyn about a second. Off-the-books laboratory tucked away from university oversight and prying eyes. This undisclosed site, equipped with state-of-the-art but illicit gear, served as his fallback amid the chaos of his primary lab's destruction. Yet it harbored even darker activities, systematic experiments on animals that violated every code of conduct in scientific ethics. His slurred admissions painted a vivid picture of late-night sessions where caged subjects endured painful trials in pursuit of groundbreaking, if forbidden, results, all to appease Sidwell's demands for rapid innovation in bioweaponry or enhancement serums tied to the terrorists' grander schemes. Jocelyn's wide-eyed reaction, piecing together the implications for Port Charles' safety, heightened the stakes, transforming a casual intel-gathering mission into a revelation that rippled through the episode's undercurrents. The evening's chaos escalated as Dalton, still reeling from his boozy indiscretions, stumbled into a heated clash with Giovanni Joe Palmieri and Emma Drake outside the bar, their accusations of negligence and betrayal hitting too close to home. Joe, with his fiery temperament, confronted Dalton over rumors of academic sabotage that had tainted the university's reputation, while Emma, sharp and unyielding, pressed him on the ethical lapses in his research that echoed through student circles. This public skirmish, fueled by half-truths and rising tempers, left Dalton humiliated and exposed, prompting him to flee toward Windermere in a desperate bid for Sidwell's protection or forgiveness. Little did he know, his boss had already deemed him irredeemable, viewing the confrontation as the final straw in a series of blunders that threatened their secrecy. Arriving at the sprawling estate under the cover of night, Dalton pleaded his case in the grand living room, oblivious to the storm brewing. Sidwell, flanked by his enforcers, listened with feigned patience before unleashing the fatal shot, the gunshots echo reverberating through Windermere's halls and freezing Britt Westburn in place. Britt, who had crossed paths with Dalton during tense collaborations, witnessed the execution as a stark reminder of Sidwell's iron-fisted rule, her mind racing with the potential fallout for anyone else entangled in this web. The professor's body slumped amid antique furnishings, a tragic symbol of ambition outpacing caution, leaving viewers to ponder how this power play might entangle Britt further or alert other key players like Jocelyn to the dangers lurking in Port Charles' elite circles. Daniel Goddard's portrayal of Henry Dalton brought a compelling mix of intellect and instability to General Hospital, infusing the role with nuances that kept audiences hooked during his relatively brief stint. While his time on GH was impactful, Goddard remains synonymous with his iconic run on The Young and the Restless, where he originated the complex character of Kane Ashby from 2007 to 2019. On that CBS staple, he navigated layers of corporate espionage, family secrets, and redemption arcs that mirrored some of Dalton's own tangled loyalties, earning him a dedicated fanbase across daytime television. Though his GH chapter has closed, Goddard's versatility shines through in how he captured Dalton's descent, blending subtle menace with moments of raw vulnerability that elevated the storyline's emotional depth. As General Hospital continues to weave its intricate tapestry of suspense and betrayal, the void left by Dalton promises ripple effects across Port Charles, from heightened scrutiny on Sidwell's operations to new alliances forming in the shadows. Will Britt's eyewitness accounts spark a chain of investigations, or will Sidwell's reach silence potential whistleblowers before they can act? These questions linger, teasing future episodes brimming with moral dilemmas and unexpected turns that keep the soap's legacy alive. For now, fans are left buzzing over this pivotal loss. Will you miss seeing Daniel Goddard bringing such intensity to the screen?